Hi guys, and welcome to part 24 of Skyrim Mod Sanctuary. Now many of you already know I'm about to do a new playthrough, and I am looking to test out mods that enhance the follower experience and magic. So obviously I'm going to be playing a mage and not doing anything like stealth. What I'm thinking of for this mage is a heavy armoured mage, a kind of tribal warlock. In very heavy armour, I'm thinking an orc for a start. That's what I'm thinking for the race. I'm thinking an orc warlock, an orc shaman type character. It can be very warlike, but very spell oriented. He's not going to use weapons. He's going to use spells, curse spells, disease, fear spells, etc. That's what I'm thinking about. And so obviously I'm going to need some armour for this character. And so that's what this video is going to be focusing on. Heavy armour for a kind of tribal shaman type character. Now, the first mod I looked at was the Omegared Armor collection. Now this, just from the pictures, had quite a few pieces that looked good for the sort of the battle mage character, but it actually had tons of armor, actually loads of it, and it's all really interesting stuff. It looks very in place in the world, and there was stuff like the arena mage, which was a sort of gladiatorial, slightly magic looking armor, the mercenary armor, which was similar in a way but more warrior based. There were some quite interesting armors like the Thane armor or the Lannister armor, which I believe were light armors. And I really liked another one of the light armors called the Ranger Armor, which looks sort of like thief armor almost, but a little bit more, I don't know, not as... It looks a little less bulky and yet still more protection because it's got some metal shoulder pieces. And I like the details on it. It looks very worn, very... I don't know, it's got blood stains on it, so you get this battle-worn feeling. So I really liked that. Now, all of those are light armors, but one of the heavy armor sets that really did appeal to me was the champion armor. It has a very, well, Greek champion look about it. It's very, very heroic. It's the sort of armor you make statues of. Very nice indeed. I really did like the details on this. But what attracted me to this mod were 3 sets of armor that were obviously aimed at spellcasters. The first one was the Spellweaver armor, and as you can see, it actually looks almost like cloth rather than armor, but it is light armor and it has a slightly thick, padded look, and it does look a little bit more, I don't know, a bit tougher than a normal mage robe. So this one's quite nice. The next one was actually the Battle Mage armor, and this is actually light armor, which disappointed me a little bit because it looks like heavy armor to me. I really like the look of this armor. I think it's a good mix of spellcaster and, you know, warrior. The armor pieces are really nice, so I really liked this, and I'd quite like to see a version of this that was heavy. And it comes in different colours. It's got black, blue and red. So this one I really did like, but again I am looking for heavy armour this time. And so that brings me to the War Mage armour. Now this is heavy armour and there's no mistaking it. It's a really, really bulky looking set of armour and yet still looks very mage-like. Now this armour may be a bit too righteous for the warlock character I'm thinking of, but it's still, I really do like the concept in general. If I ever come back and do a Holy Warrior playthrough, I have a feeling this is the type of armour I'm going to look for. So overall, this is just a brilliant little armour mod. It adds so many different types of armour that you can really mix it up, get a lot of different looks, have your companions and followers in different pieces of armour, and it really makes it a little bit more interesting. So all in all, this is one of those mods that I really do recommend. And the next mod we're going to look at is called Robed Steel Plate Armor, and it pretty much is exactly what it says. It's steel plate armor with magician robes on top. And for such a simple idea, it's really well done. It's perfect armor really for a cleric or battle mage type character. It's very functional looking. It looks very realistic, and it doesn't look righteous or evil. It's very neutral. You could go either way in this armor. It has a choice of colours. You can have it in black, blue, or brown, and just all in all, very, very well done indeed. Now the next mod I'm going to show you is actually light armor, but I was so impressed with it I had to show it you anyway. It's brilliant. It's called the Vagabond Armor, and as you can see, I mean it's incredible. It's like supervillain armor for Skyrim. It's got so many cool little details. It's got fur, leather, spikes. It looks dangerous. It looks violent. It's got a stealth look to it with the black leather, but it also has a sort of very barbarian look with the fur and the trinkets. This is just superb. I think this is one of my favourite sets of armour so far. This ranks up with things like the glass armour retex I showed you and the Sicarius armour. This ranks up there with those. Absolutely superb. Now it does actually have a hat as well, but I'm not that impressed with the hat, so I use it without. Well, I would if I was going to use this armour. Next time I do a light playthrough, this might well be the armour I use. Loved this. Now there are two versions of this. There's the red version that you're seeing now, and there is a grey version. And I had a small problem with the grey version in that the grey version of the boots seemed to make my feet invisible. Now I noticed a few other people had that problem on the web page. I'm not sure if we're doing something wrong or it's a problem with a mod, but to be honest it doesn't matter. The red version is absolutely brilliant anyway, so I was quite happy with that. Now the next mod is actually by the same author as the Vagabond Armor, and oh yeah, definitely getting there with this one. Look at this. Absolutely superb. Heavy armor with like tribal furs, skulls on your belt. Absolutely superb. And the helmet is brilliant. I mean, it's perfect for a shaman character. Absolutely. My orc warlock, this is the sort of look I had in mind for that character. So I really do like the helmet. I mean, I love the armor as well. The armor is superb. Now there is a second helmet, and that is actually a brilliant helmet as well. Great for your barbarian warrior. I still prefer the saber-toothed cat one, especially for my shaman, but either helmet, absolutely brilliant. Now the next mod has a very similar kind of look and feel, and it's called the Einherjar Armor, and as you can see, it is absolutely awesome. It's very heavy again, very heavy plates. It is equally as tribal as the Warchief Armor, but it has these great big animal bones on your shoulder, very reminiscent of the tribal power armor in Fallout 3, and I really like that look. Again with skulls on the belt, and just all in all, this really barbaric look. Now there's another version of the same armor, only with spikes on the gauntlets and on the boots, kind of similar to the Vagabond armor actually, with those spikes. And it's up to you. You know, it depends on the look you're going for. If you don't want the spikes, I still think it looks brilliant without them. But for me, for the warlock character I'm going for, I'm thinking spikes all the way. And so with all these bones and the tribal look and the spikes and the fact that it really still looks like heavy armor, I love this. And the skull on the shoulder, superb. Now the helmet that comes with this armor is pretty good. It's a heavy helmet with a hood over it, but I actually think I prefer the Warchief headdress, and they actually suit each other brilliantly. I mean, look at this armor with that helmet. That is my next character's outfit right there. That armor, that helmet, that is what I'm looking for. Absolutely superb. Brilliant. Now, there are actually versions of this armor in leather, so for light armor users, and he's even done versions of all of those that don't have bones. But to be brutally honest, the bones make it for me, so with bones all the way for me. Now, even though that is probably the armor I'm looking for, I'm going to show you one more mod, and that mod is the Dragon Priest's armor. And as you can see, it's pretty bloody impressive. This is quite obviously aimed at either evil mages or priest type characters. It's pretty terrifying to look at, and it's the same sort of armor that the Dragon Priests use. So you can obviously see that. There are a couple of different headpieces. This is just the version with the crown. It does not really suit my Nord character here, but it might suit a Dark Elf or my Orc. So, I mean, I actually prefer the mask, but if you like the open face type thing, this one might be a better option. Now, unfortunately, I won't be using this armor because for some reason the armor itself classifies as light armor, which feels wrong because that looks pretty damn heavy. But it also has an armor rating of 0, so I've got a feeling that's a bit of a mistake. If I do decide to use this, I am definitely going to be going into the creation kit and editing it. And I actually think this armor looks so good, it might actually be worth doing that. What I would actually like to see is a new version of this with slightly better stats, the ability to smith the armor and get it better, and perhaps a cloak attached to it. I think a cloak would be really, really cool looking for this armor. All in all, I mean, yeah, I can't wear it because it's armor rating 0 and it's light armor, but this is really great looking armor. I mean, it's very, very visually impressive, and it is going to suit the evil mage character perfectly. Okay, so let's install the Omegared Armor compilation. Now, at the time of this video, it's just been updated to version 3.2. So I've been showing you 3.1, so I think there are some new armors. Let's have a look at this. Actually, the easiest thing to do to find out the new versions is to click this. Sir Gregor Clegane's sword and Robb Stark's armor have now been added, and a few other things. Okay, so you guys get to check this out without me. Well, I'm going to check it out as well, but not for this video. Click the download with manager. Once the file has, the mod has downloaded, activate as usual. It's pretty big because it's got a lot of meshes and textures, so it will take a few seconds. And once it has activated, go along to plugins and you will see 3 plugins: the Omegared99 compilation, the weapon set, and the Compilation NPC plugin. Now, I like to have the NPC plugin below the compilation because it has the compilation as a master. However, one thing I can tell you now, because maybe it's because of the changes to load order for Skyrim, it actually seems to figure out that it needs to load this one before this one, even if I have my load order in this, like this. Perhaps that is Nexus Mod Manager being clever, perhaps that's the game. I'm going to actually look into that some more because that's kind of nice. It makes it less likely to have load order issues. However, it bothers me, so I am going to make sure this file comes before this file. So this has weapons. I haven't shown you the weapons, but there are weapons as well. This has all the armors, and this file places the armor on NPCs, I believe. Now, again, I've not had time to play the game yet. I've been so busy. So obviously in my Let's Play I will get to see if I see a lot of people running around in all these new sets of armor, but that would be very nice. The robed steel plate armor is basically one file. You can download the manager. There is also a HD text replacer, so I'm going to use that because I like the high definition texts as well. And of course, it's just a simple matter of activate both of those files, the robed steel plate armor and the HD text replacer, if you want the HD textures. You will notice as it's done here that it's telling me there's a newer version, etc. Again, this is one of the weaknesses of Nexus Mod Manager when it's got multiple files on the same page that have different versions. Click no. This version really does apply to the main file, which is at 1.0.2. Look at the plugins and Robe Steel Plate Armor, one file only. For the Vagabond Armor, it's got one file, version 4, download with Manager and activate. That's dead simple. The Warchief Armor, version 4 we're up to now. Single file, download with Manager, activate. Again, very simple. Now, the Einherjar Armor is a little different because it relies on you having installed another mod that I've not actually shown you. That mod is the Fur Hoods. But for now, download the Einherjar Armor, download the Manager, you're going to need that. You're going to need Fur Hoods High Definition by Northbourne, and he's got a link to it. I will also include a link at the bottom of this video. And you need that for the fur hoods that come with this armor. If you don't install this mod, which is pretty easy again, you just download with Manager, activate, and there are some optional versions. You decide which you want, whether you want the really high definition one or the slightly high definition one. Up to you, depends on your machine. But you are going to need this for the Einherjar Armor, because if you don't, basically the hoods will appear without any textures and they will be bright, glowing, pinky purple and look completely ridiculous. So you will need to install this. And finally, the Dragon Priest Armor, which is one file. There is a vertex colouring version. I'm not 100% sure what that is, to be brutally honest with you, but I was using this version. And whilst we're here on the browser, while I was making this video, I happened to switch and look at my channel, only to notice that I had 11,111 subscribers, which I thought was somewhat of an omen. I'm not a particular believer in that sort of a thing, but I thought it was kind of amusing that the game came out on the 11th of the 11th of the 11th, and I've suddenly got my 11111 subscriber. There you go. Again, big thanks to all the people who've subscribed to me. I'm absolutely amazed that so many people are interested in my videos, and I do appreciate it. But I think I'm keeping a screenshot of this particular number. Okay guys, that's it for this video. I am hoping that I will be getting a lot more free time after this coming weekend, and of course I will be starting my next playthrough, and I'm pretty psyched up for this character actually. I think this one's going to be a good one, and I have agreed to do a Let's Play, and you are more than welcome to join me for that. If you are not interested in that, of course, I will still be doing the Skyrim Mod Sanctuary series, where I will bring you a slightly more abbreviated and focused look at the mods that I am using. I have quite a lot of mods I'm going to be trying in this next playthrough, I think. So, of course, feel free to join me for those. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, remember, click the like button. I always appreciate that. I look forward to seeing you all for whichever video you join me in, and until then, have fun.